Hi everybody, welcome to my most recent episode. So in this one I'm going to be talking about shirt cutting, like cutting old t-shirts into tank tops, crop tops, whatever. Suits your fancy. I'm not actually going to show you guys how to cut them, I'm just going to give you a couple of tips and then you can mosey around YouTube and find some videos because there's plenty about all the different ways to cut shirts and you can kind of just, once you know the basics of the kind of things that you should, tips and tricks that you should do and not do, you could just sort of create your own depending on what kind of a shirt you want. And I really like showing how to do this because if you're anything like me and you've ever participated in anything, you have a t-shirt from every single thing, and I have a whole bin full of t-shirts, and so I obviously had to revamp some of them because you want to wear them for other purposes than just sleeping in sometimes. So I'm going to show you guys, first of all, I'm going to use this Indiana shirt that I have, Indiana Pride. So here we have just, your average t-shirt, and you could use like not just like your unisex ones, you could use ones that are more fitted. I actually am going to show you guys some that I did that are like t-shirts that I wore in middle school that were obviously not going to fit. They were the right size, but it was that all the places where there was stitching and seams, it was too tight. So on this one, on most of them, you're going to cut the neckline off, and depending on if you want it, lower in the front and like all the way up to your neck in the back, you're going to just cut right around the ring, and that'll, keep it higher up in the back on your neck. I've cut one and it's like a V-neck. I have it over here. And I cut it just at the same time, front and back, and straight down in a V, and then it's lower cut in both the back and the front. You could see that it's, pretty much even. And if you're gonna try and do that, I would suggest doing it at the same time because otherwise, unless you really draw on it, you're never gonna get it to be the same depth. So then, if you're going to I'll show you guys the one where I left the sleeves on. If you're going to cut your sleeves off, what you need to keep in mind, and this is kind of just common sense, you're going to cut really as far close up to the neck as possible. That's where you're going to keep kind of like your innermost part of your strap, basically right here, because if you think about it, if you cut further out and you don't have shoulders like me, it's going to just fall right off. It's going to be too far out. And this I left kind of thick, but if you're going to make more spaghetti strap, you still want it to start over here and then just cut further in over here from the sleeve so that it stays up, but you can have as thin of a strap as you want. Okay, and then the last thing that I want to show you guys to take into consideration is it's not going to unravel, but it's going to, pull like this as you wear it and you put it on, you wash it, and it's going to kind of curl under. So you're not going to see necessarily your little jagged scissor lines, which is good, but if this isn't the look that you want, you may want to try and be more careful about getting it stretched out. So I am going to pause and restart and show you guys this whole shirt top and bottom. Okay, cool. So I'm showing all of these shirts with bandos underneath just because I think it looks a little classier. You could obviously wear like a swimsuit, and if you're at the beach, it obviously doesn't matter. So this one I decided to wear with white shorts, obviously, and this is a shirt that my aunt got me in Texas, and I really liked it because it's super decorative from the restaurant, and I think that this looks kind of like a shirt that you would get for like a made-up place, like in the juniors department or whatever. So I thought this was really cute, and it did fit pretty well through here, so I wanted to turn it into a fringe shirt. And so you'll see, like I was talking about, I don't want to cut my head off, how it curls over here. It's going to do the same thing with your fringe. If you'll see here how thick it is at the top, and then it gets really thin because they just totally curl over. So I'll do a little 360 here, and I'm going to show you guys two other more looks that I have with this same shirt, just kind of adding a little modification. So BRB. Dig. Okay, so now what I've done here is I've taken a little piece of lace that I had, and you could use a ribbon, you could use string. I've even seen people use take for instance, if you cut like a strip at the bottom off, just use that, the same material, and then it blends in really well. And one of the advantages of wearing it like this is it makes it very fitted, much more than it would have been if you just let it be kind of baggy. And it also pulls it more here around the front, so it's a little bit more modest look. And then it also makes it a little smidge shorter. But I really like this, and like I said, you could use whatever. I use this piece of lace because I think it gives it a nice girly feel. Plus I got my little yellow sun here with my dolphins that I want to be swimming with, so it's all good. Okay, so now what I've done here is I've taken my same little bow and I've tied it just around the strap between one arm and the neck. You could have it kind of in the back here, you could have it more in the front, back by your hair, really doesn't matter. Like most of the things I do episodes about, there are no rules. Okay, so now this is a long sleeve shirt, and I wanted to keep it long sleeve, but this is the ones that I was talking about, where it just was unflattering with the seam at the bottom and with the neckline. So here it's a little bit off the shoulder, and I've heard somebody call this like Kurt Cobain style with the thumb holes, and I found that the easiest way to do this is just to put the shirt on and kind of stick where you think your thumb is going to go. There's really no measuring or rhyme or reason. Like your ruler's not going to help you out in this kind of a situation. So I'm going to pivot. You're going to see I cut some holes in the back just to make it a little bit edgier. You see one there, some other slits here on the side, you know, just to make it a little edgier, but it's a little hot for this today. So I'm gonna move on to something a little bit cooler. Okay, so since I'm a really huge fan of things being asymmetrical, I decided that I was going to scrap one sleeve of this shirt and keep the other one. And so I definitely still cut off on the sleeve. I kept the bottom seam just because otherwise it's going to look like you cut a shirt up if you leave some seams and not others. So my advice is to just always take them off. And so then kept it as a tank top on one side, have this on the other, can totally wear this off the shoulder and have the slits like a little bit lower down on my arm. And then the back of this one is just plain. Okay, so this is another shirt that you could tell was a little bit tighter, and this one I kept the bottom seam on because it was already unfinished. Well, not unfinished, but there was no fold over. And I just kept this because I like that it had the contrast stitching, and I really like it with this color bandeau because it's teal and it goes good with all the contrasting colors. So this obviously had like cap sleeves that were red, and then I think that the ring or collar ring or whatever was red too, but I wanted to keep just a little tiny bit of the red, like how it contrasts. So this is one where I did the spaghetti straps, and you're going to see that I kept pretty much right here by the neck just so that it wouldn't be falling off my shoulders. And then the back of this one got a ton of slits, kind of going like this. I'll do it like this. Kind of going chevroning in toward each other, just sort of gives it a kind of cool look, you know, kind of like scratch marks from paws or like whatever. Okay, so this is a shirt that I got at a thrift store in Champaign, and I'm a writer and a journalist and I talk a lot, so I just like had to have a conversation bubble t-shirt. And this one I made into a tank top too, but not falling off my shoulders because I did it right. And then the back I have kind of cascading slits down the back. It's a really good look for the beach, really like this one. And now I'm going to show you how you could do this same kind of maybe like a pyramid or a mountain shape slits on the side here. Okay, now so for this one, again, we love the red and teal we've got going on, and this one I decided to keep as kind of a thicker strap tank top. And so you'll see I have the same kind of cutting pattern down the side, and you could leave it like this, still totally wearable, but I'm going to show you guys how to kind of do a little woven thing in them, and then you could safety pin it together, but I don't have a safety pin right now, so I'll show you a picture of what it's supposed to look like when it's all done and pretty and punk. So what you're going to do is cut a bunch of them, and you'll see that they get bigger and wider as I go down. So you're going to start with the very top one and pull it over and pull that one out, then that was underneath it. Then you're going to do the same with that one, pull it over and then pull the one that was under it out, go over the one underneath it, and you're just kind of making a little ladder effect. You'll see it's starting to get some other little nooks and crannies in here, and then what you'll do down here, you could like tie it in a knot and safety pin it, or you can kind of like pull it up a little bit and then it'll be kind of cropped more on one side, and I'll show you guys a picture of how this looks when it's all done. Okay, last one. So you could see kind of throughout all these, I picked ones that are kind of beachy, and that's just sort of my style and my taste in graphic tees. So this one was a t-shirt. Again, wanted to keep one sleeve, but still just cut off that very bottom part. And then over here, I did some fringe. After I made the other fringe shirt, I decided, oh, it would be kind of cool to have it on a sleeve. And this one was like a fitted t-shirt, so it wouldn't be very, very long, but I really like it. Like I said, big fan of all the asymmetrical stuff. So I hope you guys liked my episode on shirt cutting and that you're able to kind of find some new life within some of your t-shirts and, be able to wear them, because we're entering the swelt of the summer here and beach weather. So you're going to want to be able to have as many different options. And then it's really nice because if you use like the unisex ones that are a little bit bigger and more boxy fit, they're definitely going to be very comfortable and breezy and roomy, and you're just going to be able to have a super swell time. So I hope you guys take some of my tips. You can comment if you have any questions about how I did some of these, and happy browsing of YouTube to find some other ways that you can funkify your t-shirts.